lie there in that old curiosity shop.
The leaves are falling and I am recalling the love that came when the apple blossoms kissed the rain. Lonely lane. She used to love me in starlight above me. Love.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, and just look at all that stuff. But before we get into the thrift haul, guess what?
A cup of coffee, a sandwich, and you, a cozy corner, a table for two.
Today's cup of coffee and ginger snaps are brought to you by the Bailey Walker China Company of Bedford, Ohio. I don't know the name of this pattern, but it's restaurant wear and really has the look of the 1920s or 30s, I would say. Very classic. Oh, and because I'm celebrating Salem's good health, I'm having 2 ginger snaps tonight. Boy, I really know how to break it wide open, don't I? Okay, folks, well, before I explain everything on the kitchen counter, I want to thank everybody for your kind thoughts, words, prayers, and comments on Salem the cat. He's had a couple of really good days here at the house, and he's eating and sleeping and playing, and very just so thankful. Was really scary, thought we were going to lose him. But that old cat is hanging in there, so I can't thank you enough for all of the comments. I read every one, and I'm still trying to comment on them, you know, at least go back and give you a heart on the comments. But it's so appreciative. I'm so appreciative and thankful that Salem is hanging in there. Okay, I've divided this thrift haul into 2 parts, and right down the center are 2 mid-century vases. Everything to the left, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to keep, at least for right now. And everything to the right is listed for sale in the eBay shop. But let's just go ahead and go to the dividing line here with the mid-century vases. Now the turquoise one, I guess that's turquoise, that sold for about $23, and the person never paid for it. So poo-poo on you, whoever that was. But maybe they had buyer's remorse. But anyway, that has been relisted, and it's in beautiful condition with no sick glass problems. Neither one of them have any sick glass problems. A lot of times water will sit in the bottom of these, and you'll get calcium deposits, which is sometimes difficult to get out. Denture cleaner and vinegar does not always take it out. And so this one has been relisted, okay? And then this one over here, I just listed a few days ago. Whether these are Viking or L.E. Smith, I don't know because I'm not very knowledgeable on swung vases. But, okay, the stuff that I'm going to keep over here, we'll start with this. It's a little butter dish. You know I love the 30s. This looks like the 1920s or 30s. It's probably American made because it says nothing on the bottom. At first I thought it was English looking, but no marks on the bottom. Anybody know the maker or the pattern? I like the colors, and look at the surprise on the inside. The 2 little ridges to hold the butter up. And then, you know, when the lid is off, it's still decorative. You see a decorative green line around the inside, which you don't see when the lid is on. So I just really like that. I'll show it to you better. Okay, and then over here, just today, a few hours ago, I purchased this cream and sugar caddy in uranium. This is all uranium glass, so it all glows under black light, fluoresces. This would be for a cream and sugar. Again, you pretty much know the makers from that era. Anchor Hocking, Jeanette McKee, so forth and so on, who made a lot of this green glass. Hazel Atlas. And so I don't have an Art Deco cream and sugar in green glass, but I'd like to find one now that I have a really neat caddy. And I thought it would be fun to put that tiny little salt and pepper shaker that Garland sent me a couple weeks ago. Isn't that cute, sitting there? I know. Then a refrigerator dish with a lid. So in green glass. Again, these all date to as early as the very late 20s, but mostly popular through the 30s. Really happy to find that with its lid. And then another one, let's see, in case you want to know, I did pay $4 for this because I'm, you know, keeping it. This was $5. A really neat jar with a lid in depression glass, green. Hocking made a lot of this glass. I'm not sure if Hocking made this one. And then this one, this was less than $10. But at the moment, I just can't remember exactly how much it was. Okay, and then over here are two pieces I bought separately. It's funny how you find a piece and then 2 days later you find another piece to match it. This was made for Farberware, our Farber company. They did the metal, I'm sorry, the chrome on the outside. If we turn it over, we'll see it's called Golden Marie, made for Farberware by the Sebring Pottery Company of Sebring, Ohio. And then Farberware would then take the pottery, the dinnerware, and put the chrome decorations on it. It was a very popular thing to do in the 30s. And as I said, I found this for $2, and about three days later, the plate, or the other way around. And this one is also, see, they're matching, of course. And this also says Golden Marie on the back. Okay? I like it. I've always liked it. And I've had other pieces before, but this time I decided to hold on to these. This is American made as well. It's very small and probably a grease jar. We've talked about grease jars, drippings jars before that came with range sets. R-A-N-G-E. And this one is, hold on folks. This one is, oops, I had it. Oven Serve, made in the USA, Homer Laughlin. See the HLC up there? I love the colors on it, no chips or cracks, and again, it's right in that sort of 19... You guys know my style. If it's green and it's from the 20s or 30s, I just have a thing for it. Back here is a tiny little picture. And this would be the angel, which is just out of sight, appearing to the wise men, I'm sorry, to the shepherds, to tell them about the birth of Jesus. And this is a tiny little thing. I'm going to use this at Christmas time, of course. And this was purchased right here in Philadelphia at the celebrated Rosenbach Galleries on Walnut Street, which is just a few blocks from where I am. This was probably bought by someone as a memento. What am I trying to say? Not a tourist item. A gift item from the gallery. And this is this dates to the 30s. And I'm going to use it, as I said, to display at Christmas time. And then you know, I'm a radio collector. This is from a dollhouse. It's unmarked, so I don't know which company made it. Little cathedral radio. And these were, cathedral radios were popular from about 1930 to about 1935, so it's really easy to date that. Also from the 30s and 40s, an Art Deco style tiny stapler. Love that. It's got staples in it. Pencil sharpener. We're all familiar with the Boston name of pencil sharpeners. And a typewriter tin with some Art Deco designs to it. I love the black and orange and the Deco inspired graphic on the front. So those are nice. A swing frame, which dates to about 1930-ish. In fact, you know what? This one, if I remember, yes, look at that. Xmas 1930. I love it. I love it when we can date something perfectly, or exactly rather. Someone received this for Christmas of 1930. And I have so many of these frames, so many pictures from my grandparents that are in frames just like this because that was their era. A big candlestick, which is in two, that will come out of there, so I'm not sure if I want to pick that up. But this is very typical of the 20s. I will bring it out. It's made of wood. I need to do some, what do I want to say? Touch-ups. I haven't cleaned it or anything. The gesso is chipping off. It's wood, but it's got a plaster finish on it and some stippling. Very typical of what you'd see in the 20s and early 30s. Polychromed, although the colors have dulled with time, but it's there, and I'm going to be able to bring a little bit of that color out. There would have been a pear and probably a large fruit bowl that went with it. It's really big. It's over a foot tall, and I really like that. So we'll get that cleaned up and looking really good. Move these things out of the way. Okay, now this is the stuff that's for sale. I'm sorry, folks. I have to do this. In fact, you know what? Let's take a short break. Don't go anywhere. I have an announcement for you. I'll be right back. Okay, breaking away from the kitchen counter for just a second because I forgot to show you this the other day. Now, remember when I said I found all that Pyrex? Well, I've listed all of it except for one piece, and it's this one right here. Now, take a close look at this. Is this mid-century or what? Look how stylized these fish are from the 60s. The bell pepper, or some kind of pepper, a spice like sage or something, a lobster, onion, and a mushroom, and then the same thing on the other side. Now, it has no lid, unfortunately, but it is a 8-inch casserole. It's about 3 inches deep, really cute handles, and it's the English Pyrex. AJA, made in England. Let's see if we can get you to see it. Can you see that? Now, of course, it doesn't say Pyrex anywhere on it. And I don't know Pyrex. I don't study it. I don't know much of its history, so you guys already know this. Those of you who love Pyrex, I don't know if it was made by Pyrex and sold in England or made by another company in England. I don't even know what AJA stands for, but everybody calls this the English Pyrex. So I see a lot of it in Canada, England, Australia, the Netherlands, and so forth. Not easy to find in the US. So if you collect Pyrex and you'd like an unusual piece for your collection, now's your chance, and domestic shipping because I'm right here in Philadelphia. There are no chips or cracks. As you can see, the inside is bright and shiny and clean, and it's up for auction right now. I have an opening bid of $19, which I think is very reasonable. So if you're interested, go get it. It'll be active for 7 days. Good luck. Now back to the kitchen counter. I'm back. Excuse me, that gave me a chance to eat my ginger snaps and have some coffee, and now you know all about this awesome guy right here. Also, you saw this the other day. I showed it to you, but then I forgot to list it. So it is now listed. So here's a close-up of it, in case you didn't get to see it very well the other day. late 50s, early 60s. Made for Silex by Pyrex, and that's the Pyrex name is right. Well, come on now, I know you want to see. Well, I showed it to you the other day, and it shows up, it's right there. But it shows up really well on the auction listing pictures. So if you are a Pyrex collector and you want to add something slightly unusual to your Pyrex collection, that's in the Curiosity shop right now, as well as the English Pyrex. Let's put that back. Okay, there are a couple things here that I haven't listed yet, but I'm going to be listing them today or tomorrow. Revere ware, as far as I'm this is probably a mixing, what am I trying to say? This is a mixing cup, 1 cup, and it is Revere ware. I mean, you can just barely see, I think you can just see a little bit of it there. My mother is still using her Revere ware pots and pans that she's been using for 55 years. I bet you are too, because it is awesome cookware. You can just see this a mile away, and you know by that handle and the copper on the bottom that it's a Revere ware pot. I'm guessing that they also had measuring cups, is what I'm trying to say. And I only have 1, but isn't that cute? So I don't think it's a child's toy. I think it was meant to be a measuring cup set. And there's probably the 4th, the half, and the 3/4 cup as well. So that's my guess. I'll sell that real soon. The other 2 things that I have not listed yet, but I'm working on it, is this black glass vase right here. Amethyst black glass. Get it up in the light. That's not really doing a whole lot for you. But it has a sterling silver decoration on the front. How do I know it's sterling? Because it says so. Isn't that cool? See that right there? Sterling. I love it. Okay. Lots of makers of black glass. L.E. Smith made most of it. Circa 1930. That I have not listed yet, but it will be. That's the last piece that I haven't listed yet, but I will be. It's a casserole dish made by Hall, H-A-L-L, for the Foreman Family Company, in a wonderful blue color, circa 1930s, really. 1930s, could be early 40s, actually, and it is just in fantastic, like-new condition. I wasn't going to do this, but I'll try it. Really sweet condition. Let you see the bottom. I know it's blurry there, but okay. And it's, of course, in this wonderful chrome holder. So you can bring your macaroni and cheese out to the dining room table in style. Very nice piece. Probably never used. Doesn't even have any staining or chips in it, or cracks. Excuse me. There's a Fenton hobnail opalescent basket. Probably dates to around the Second World War, early 40s to mid 40s, maybe late 40s. There are no chips or cracks on this either. I think it's a 7-inch basket, about 8 inches tall, and that's an applied handle, of course. Everybody's familiar with Fenton. By the way, is it marked? No. And I'm not a Fenton expert. I don't even have any Fenton price guides, but I think the new stuff, most of the new stuff has the word Fenton in an oval, and it's embossed in the bottom of the glass, the stuff that was made in the 70s, 80s, and so forth. And the newer Fenton will have paper labels on it or stickers on it as well, but that's an old one. Okay, these 2 pieces here, this was in my fall tablescape, the first one, back in August. Now I decided to sell it. I don't need it. So it's an amber fan vase. Fan vase. Beautiful colors. Crimped edge, don't know the maker of it. It looks somewhat iridescent in this light, but there's no iridescence to it. Okay, that's currently listed. Pretty for fall. The pottery made in Japan incense burner here sold, and then the person didn't pay for it. So yeah, it happens, you know. So I had 2 people not pay for their items. Okay, so I just relist it. This dates to about 1928, 29, 30, 31, something like that. Made in Japan, we can see there. Hollow on the bottom, and it's a pottery. No chips or cracks on it. You put your incense right there and let it waft through your bungalow. All right, more made in Japan in the front in the Majolica style, very typical of what was coming out of Japan in the late 20s to the mid 30s. Here, 2 candlesticks, which are somewhat unusual and have a little bit of an Art Deco design to them. There's the made in Japan on the bottom. Oddly enough, or surprisingly enough actually, no chips or damage or breaks. These tiny, delicate little handles are perfect. I love the glaze. They're candle holders, as I just said. Matching pair. Somewhat unusual. Much more ubiquitous would be the old flower pot in the Majolica style. Again, it's made in Japan. And the only problem with it, now that hole was there to allow water to drain out. There's a little bit of loss on the bottom, probably from just somebody banged it or from the water that came through. It doesn't really structurally bother the thing. There aren't any chips on the inside. A lot of glaze cracking here, crazing. That's just what you get. And then that one there that really looks like a crack. You know, you get used to seeing that kind of thing. You don't see it all the way through. When you ping the thing, you don't get a thump. It's really a very deep surface crack in the glaze that turns a dark color. But it's not an actual crack that goes through the piece itself. Okay. All right. And then finally, I think the last thing here, did I miss anything? Are these really decorative horses, I guess you would say bookends. They come in a, oh no, it's 2 things, duh. This I believe is made by Imperial. That looks like an Imperial handle to me. Let me get down there and let you see it better. It's a piece of depression glass, so that we'll say late 20s into the early 30s. It's gilded, it's a bonbon dish, it's green uranium glass, it will fluoresce under black light, and it has on it fruit. Now that's a decal, it's not painted. Imperial did a lot of it, but they aren't the only ones. There were other glass makers of the Roaring 20s that did this kind of work with decals, but usually you either see painted decorations. It's not often that you actually see decals. You may like it, you may not. It is a little busy. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, so I kind of like it. The gilding is really good on the handles, and I'll let you have a close-up of the fruit decorations. There were other pieces. You know, you can find plates and candlesticks and console bowls and so forth with this fruit decal. But again, my feeling is Imperial. If anybody knows for certain, you know, that if it's Imperial or some other company, I'd like to know. And then finally, the horse heads right back there are in great condition. There are no chips or cracks on either one of those. Okay, let's get you out of the way for a second. I think that's Rosemary Clooney we hear in the backdrop. Now, many companies made these, including Heisey, but this isn't Heisey, it's just not their quality of glass, I can tell. So, I don't know which company made these. They're stylized horse heads. They were popular in the 40s and so forth. And there are no chips or cracks in them. Now, I always get this, you know, I'll put the thing up I'll put pictures up in my eBay site, and someone will say, oh no, you said there are no cracks. Look at those 2 cracks on the side of his face right there. Well, let me bring this up. Those are not cracks and they're not scratches. I know it's really hard for you to see that and hard for you to tell. And you may be saying, oh, come on. How do you know they're not cracks or scratches? Well, when you run your fingernail over them, there's depth to them. You can actually feel it as if it is a wrinkle. That's part of the manufacture. Many collectors call those straw marks. and you get used to seeing straw marks in glass of this era. So they aren't defects. It would be nice if they weren't there, especially right on his cheek. Do horses have cheeks? His jowl, I guess. But it's not damaged. It's just a part of the manufacture of the glass. Okay, so I really like these, and they show up beautifully in bright light without my fingerprints all over them. Okay, so we'll put this back where it was and let you see everything again. Almost all of this is in the shop. There's about 3 pieces I still have to get listed. And as I said, I'm holding on to this stuff for the moment, but I do occasionally change my mind and put something up for sale that I thought I was going to keep. Well, everyone, this is Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying thanks for watching, and so long for now.